The stellar juvenile healing complex drifted in silent orbit around Aurelian Major, a structure so advanced it was often described as flawless. Within its walls, entire lifetimes of illness could be erased in days. Genetic defects were unraveled and rewritten. Neural pathways were restored with microscopic precision. Lost organs were grown anew as if absence itself were only a temporary inconvenience. And yet, for all its mastery over biology, the facility was losing a battle with a single crying child. Cairo, a Thrixan cub barely 6 cycles old, lay at the center of the problem. His silver-gray fur, meant to be thick and resilient, clung damply to his small frame. Thrixan were famed throughout the spiral arms for their endurance, creatures born on worlds of crushing gravity and violent storms. They were survivors by nature. But Cairo was not a warrior, he was a cub. And he had been screaming for nearly 3 standard hours. Every approved pediatric protocol had been executed. Environmental parameters were calibrated down to molecular accuracy, matching his home world's atmosphere, pressure, and electromagnetic background. Synthetic pheromones designed to mimic parental presence were released. Specialists, avian, arthropoid, silicon-based, had all reviewed his case. Nothing helped. The sound of his cries rolled endlessly through the medical wing, sharp and frantic, vibrating against walls designed to withstand solar radiation. Even staff members accustomed to battlefield triage found themselves uneasy. Dr. Salric stood motionless behind a transparent observation barrier, his many-lensed sensory crown flickering with irritation. As a Velari physician, he processed physiological data faster than most species could think. He did not tolerate inefficiency. "This situation is counterproductive," he stated flatly. "Sustained distress is destabilizing the cub's endocrine systems." His assistant's mandibles clicked nervously as she monitored the live scans. "Sedatives have proven ineffective. His metabolic conversion rate neutralizes them within minutes." "Then restrain him further. That may increase psychological trauma." Salrix's appendages curled. Psychological variables are secondary to survival. That was when Mara passed the corridor junction. She should not have been anywhere near this wing. Mara was a human pediatric nurse assigned to Ward Theta, minor cases, recovery supervision, post-procedural care. Humans, after all, were still regarded as medically unsophisticated. Their practices relied heavily on touch, tone, proximity, intangibles that most advanced civilizations had replaced with controlled biochemical solutions centuries ago. But Mara heard the crying. She stopped mid-step. The sound cut through her with immediate clarity, not as data, not as noise, but as meaning. Fear, exhaustion, loneliness. She turned back. "Sorry," she said carefully, approaching the Velari physician. "Who's with that cub right now?" Salrix rotated a cluster of eyes toward her. "The patient is under full observation. Your presence is unnecessary." "He's alone," Mara replied. "I can tell." "That is irrelevant." Mara looked through the barrier. Cairo was secured in a med cradle, surrounded by softly pulsing machines. His claws scraped weakly at the surface beneath him, his body shuddering with every breath. No warmth, no contact. "Let me try something," she said. Salrix's appendages lifted in clear dismissal. "Your species, reliance on emotional interaction, has no empirical foundation." "Maybe not," Mara said quietly, "but it won't hurt him." A pause stretched long enough to register in the logs. 3 minutes, Salrix said, "no more." Mara entered the room slowly. She did not approach the cradle at once. Instead, she pulled a chair close and sat where Cairo could see her. His cries faltered, not stopping but shifting, becoming uneven. She began to hum. The tune was ancient by human standards, passed down without record or reason. Simple, circular, designed not to impress but to endure. Cairo stared at her. Minute by minute, the sound of his distress unraveled. His cries broke into uneven gasps, then into small, uncertain noises that barely echoed at all. Only then did Mara raise her hand. She let him see it, let him decide. When her fingers brushed the fur at the crown of his head, Cairo stiffened, then leaned into the touch. The trembling slowed, his breathing deepened. Outside the room, alarms quietly disengaged. "Stress indicators are declining," the assistant whispered. "Rapidly." Saelric said nothing. Mara unlatched the restraints and lifted Cairo into her arms. He was heavier than he looked, dense with muscle even at his age. She adjusted her grip without thinking, holding him close. His claws curled into her sleeve. Within seconds, his body went slack with sleep. "He is unconscious," Saelric demanded over the channel. "No," Mara replied, "he's resting." Disbelief rippled through the observation team. From that moment on, any attempt to separate them failed. Scans, transfers, routine diagnostics each ended the same way: panic, screaming, distress levels spiking into dangerous territory. And each time, the moment Mara sat and held him again, the storm ended. Saelric documented everything, carefully, clinically, without speculation. But one line appeared repeatedly in his private annotations: "No technological substitute identified." The most sophisticated pediatric institution in the sector had encountered a limit, not of science, but of understanding. And it was a human nurse, sitting quietly in a chair, humming an old song, who revealed it. Subscribe to the channel to make the stories even more exciting.